Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives and welcome to winter in Michigan, a season that some people actually like, but I'm not one of them, which is why I am leaving and going to California in just 2 days. But I thought before I left the whiteness of Michigan, I would bring you a little bit of a video here on this, the 2024 Land Rover Defender 130 Outbound. And I do apologize for the blowing, gusting snow wind. I'm gonna make this walk around brief for you, and then we'll hop in and we'll get on the road. Oh, this is good too. I'm gonna show you what it's like to live with this new trim level of the Defender 130. Now, this is only our second model year with the extended, which is what the 130 is. It's the longest Land Rover Defender. You have the small two-door 90, the mid-sized 110, and then the big daddy here, the 130. And basically what this Outbound package is a simplified color palette. You can have it in gray, or white. This one is gray. And if you give Land Rover an extra $5,000, they'll wrap it in satin PPF. And additionally, the Outbound package gives you multiple accessories that you don't have to go into the dealer and select yourself. One of them being this little carrying case on the side of the Defender, which deletes the rear window. So this entire thing is blocked off a bit like a cargo van. And if you live in Michigan and you're in the freezing cold, you have to use this metal key. There we go. Oh yeah, that's nice and frozen shut. Please come out. Okay, that's staying in there. Okay, so this I imagine is for jerry cans and just sort of things that you don't want to put in the car, and it is very cool. It's very sort of Land Rover heritage, and they even give you a Land Rover branded net inside to hold things, which is nice. Please close. Thank you so much. Okay, that's what you get on the passenger side. On the driver's side, though, the accessory is quite a bit cooler because you have a ladder which extends off. Oh, and this is going to be frozen to the truck today. Come on. You want to come down. Oh, there we go. Okay. So it folds twice, and it's able to hold up to 150 kilograms, which is some amount of weight in pounds. But what I do know is that it holds me. I can climb up to the roof of the Defender to show you guys the panoramic roof. Essentially the whole roof is glass, even for the back of the car. I thought maybe I could break that off, but it's not working. Whew. It is somehow colder up here, so I'm gonna make my way back down to the ground. Okay, put my hands in my pockets for a second before I put that back up. We have 20-inch black wheels on some Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tires here for the Outbound package. I think they look excellent, though I would like an option to make them silver, but I suppose they kind of fit the dark color palette of the Outbound. Okay, perhaps the most notable difference for the Outbound is that you have the Defender 130, but you don't have third row seating. So the Outbound is available only as a 5-seater configuration. And I suppose I didn't really explain this well enough earlier, and it's kind of self-explanatory in the name Outbound, but this is kind of the adventure package. It's the exploration trim level of the Defender. So the reason they don't give you a third row is just to give you more room to lay down or to put things. And you can also see kind of this diamond plating on our second row seats, meaning you can fold those down. And I think you could honestly lay down in this thing pretty easily. Why don't we try it? We'll put our ladder back first, because knowing me, I'll forget to put this back. And we'll be driving down the road with the ladder extended. I do like how this still opens outwards, like a classic Land Rover. I remember my Uncle Chris had a Land Rover Discovery back when I was growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s. He lived in downtown Chicago, and his spare tire always got stolen, but I do remember how cool it was seeing the back of the SUV open like that. All right, I'm gonna go butt first. Oh, yeah. Oh, easily. Easily. So I'm 5'11", and you could have two 5'11" people, I think, sleep back here, as long as you didn't have anything with you. If you were traveling alone, though, it would be easier, because all your stuff could kind of go on the side. As far as amenities back here, you've got a couple cubbies. You've got some USB-C ports on either side. You've got vents for your non-existent third-row passengers, and you've got a little place to look out. If you are laying, I suppose, the other way, if your head was this way, you could lay back, and you can look at the stars. So kind of a cool package. I mean, it does seem a little bit silly to have a Defender 130 without a third row seat, but I do kind of get the appeal, especially in 2023 when everybody just wants to escape reality and be off the grid. It does kind of make sense. So it's cool, you know. It's with the times. And man, does it have a presence. I always like driving Defenders. I think when Land Rover brought this car back for the 2020 model year, I think they did it in a classy manner. It's not too retro nonsense, but it still pays enough tribute to the old Defender to look iconic. I don't think I would change a thing about this. So under the hood of every Defender Outbound, oh no. Let's just... Okay, just remove this. Very hard ice. The problem is, okay, yesterday it snowed and then it rained and then it snowed again. So it's like an ice sandwich. There's snow and there's ice and then there's snow again, and it just makes everything dreadful. So anyways, under the hood we have the P400 powertrain, which is the 3-liter turbocharged mild hybrid inline 6. In this Defender Outbound, it makes 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. Power is sent to all four wheels via a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. Love that transmission, and usually everything it's a part of is quite good. I might have to remove more of this. Well, that kind of seems like it's frozen in place. I think I just didn't shut this hard enough. Hello? Yeah, I just can't get the hood to close. I can try holding it down if you want to try shutting it.
That did it.
Ah, thank you, sir. I am never opening that again. Let's start this up because I don't think I'm going to have use of my hands in a second. I'll take this time to point out that I don't like the vent placement on this car either. I think the vents are too high up and they don't really make too much sense. But otherwise, things in here are pretty much unchanged. We still have our big, nice, leather-wrapped, heated steering wheel. We have heated seats, which have turned themselves on. That is nice. We've got tons of storage down here, USB Type A and Type C, as well as a traditional car charger port. Visibility here in the Defender 130 Outbound is not great, considering that it's basically a cargo van in the back, and you don't have any side visibility past the second row. And out the rear view mirror, all you can really see is the spare tire, which means it's a good thing that this has the optional camera rear view mirror. That helps things out quite a bit, and I'm glad that that's an option that's been selected. And speaking of options, let's talk about price real quick before we hit the road. This 130 Outbound starts at about $85,000. This one as spec is just under 94 grand, and I'll show you the Monroney here. We'll go through it together, and I'll show you all the options. We have comfort and convenience, off-road pack, towing pack. We have the heads-up display, which is a $1,000 option. That is hysterical. That should come standard. We have the Carpathian Gray, not satin. Nice. Wheel protection, clear sight interior, rear view mirror, $570 option. Again, that should be standard. We have Wi-Fi, emergency pack, handover pack, and we have the black interior. That is a no-cost option. Total price $93,788. Fuel economy 17 combined, 16 city, 18 highway. I've been doing 13.4. So it's winter, it's Michigan. I've been doing some idling around and whatnot. So definitely not the best representation for what this car is actually capable of. Here's what Apple CarPlay looks like on our screen. Reacts pretty quickly, no complaints there. Quick back to the home screen, and I like Land Rover's infotainment. It reacts quickly. It's a very, very visually pleasing design. Climate control works the same as any other Land Rover. Let's get on the road because I'm tired of sitting in this parking lot. And man, am I lucky. I have to say, I film a lot of my intros here at this church, and no one has ever given me any grief, and this very kind gentleman driving the church van helped me shut my hood. So, compliments to them. Nice throttle tuning, smooth power delivery, and Land Rover gets their steering right in these big SUVs, and I would hope that they would because they've had longer than almost anyone as far as SUVs go to perfect. I also love a good proper inline six. You can now opt for the 5-liter supercharged V8 as well in the Defender 130 for the 24 model year. I was under the impression that they were killing the 5-liter after the 23 model year, but I suppose you've got at least one more year to have that if that's what you would like. And I'll give you guys a second here to take in our NVH. Keep in mind it is very, oh yeah, the joys of winter in Michigan. Anyways, go ahead and observe NVH. Now, you can never expect a big, blocky SUV like this to be whisper quiet, but I think as far as build quality goes, they've got this thing pretty nailed down. There are no rattles in here. There's nothing that sounds like it's not put on properly that's leaking from the outside, and especially considering the fact that it's super windy and blustery today, I think this thing does a fair enough job. Check out our washer fluid delivery here. Comes right out of the middle of the wipers. Pretty neat. Not as cool as the Mercedes that comes out in multiple different streaks, but okay, that's enough of that. Oh no. We have a number of different drive modes in here as well, none of which we're going to be using today because they're all off-road oriented. And what I figured we'd do in today's drive is kind of just drive to downtown, because most of the people that are buying this, and I understand the Outbound trim is to go adventure and things, but how many times are you actually going out to adventure? The main use for this car is going to be on a day-to-day basis. So I want to see how useful this car is, how usable it is in just a regular day-to-day scenario. I'm going to go through a drive-through, and then we're going to drive to downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan, and see if this thing feels bulky. The TheTopher had this car earlier this week, and he told me that he couldn't fit it into the parking structure that he was trying to go into. And I think that's because the structure he was going into was too short for the car. But as I mentioned, we do have adjustable suspension in this car, and I think we'll be able to lower it down just enough to be able to get ourselves in. Land Rover has been working this air suspension for quite a while now. Oh, and you might not be able to say the L word in here. Did not know that. Okay. Let's take this opportunity to show you that 395 horsepower in action. Pretty quick sprint to 60 there. I want to say Land Rover claims just under a 6-second time to 60. We don't have paddle shifters with this inline-6 powertrain on the Outbound, but we do have a sport mode on our shifter, and you can manually shift by bumping the stick, and I'm happy to report that it is in the proper formation. Push down, shifts up, push up to shift down. Lots of good mid-range torque here from this P400 inline-6. And I gotta say, this ZF 8-speed just makes every car that it's in so much better. I wish every automatic transmission behaved like this one. I wish every automatic transmission was as smooth and precise. This is like the Ford Flex Outbound in front of us, gray and black, similarly shaped. So we'll hop through here, we'll test maneuverability in a parking lot scenario. And even though this is a Defender 130, it's not as big as I thought it would be. This is my first time driving one of these. I've only driven the 90 and the 110. It's not as cumbersome as I expected, and I don't know why I thought it would be cumbersome, because Land Rover usually dials these things in nicely. The steering in this car is just weighted beautifully. It's a proper SUV steering, very light, but precise and quick. That's what you gotta have for something like this. Now, this is by no means a tight drive-through, but we'll hug the curb here to kind of simulate it. So how about drive-through helps? Well, we do have auto start stop, which you can turn off with this button here right above your climate control. And we also have auto hold. All you have to do is press extra hard down on the brake pedal and it will engage. Now I'm in drive idling and I'm not driving into the Jeep Wrangler in front of me. And actually, speaking of the Jeep Wrangler, that brings up a point that I wanted to mention here with the Defender, because before this car came out in 2020, you had the Jeep Wrangler and then you had the Mercedes G-Wagon, and I feel like there was no real in-between. Even with the introduction of the Ford Bronco in 2020, 2021, whenever that came out, that kind of competes there with the Jeep Wrangler. So I think it's nice that Land Rover gave us something that kind of splits that gap. If you feel like you're above the Jeep Wrangler, but you don't want to spend $250,000 on a G63, why not go out and have a Land Rover Defender? It looks the part. It feels nice. You've got everything in here that you need. And I think that they were smart bringing this car back and giving it a new life, because it was the same for 1,000 years over in Europe. So it makes a lot of sense for kind of just mall crawling over here in the US. But of course, it is super capable off-road as well. And if you want to see this thing perform off-road, there are a number of Daily Motor and the TheTopher videos where we test the off-road capabilities of the Defender. Creeping up here around the corner. Also, these seats are some of the hottest I've ever felt in a new car. And I love that because, in my opinion, I think heated seats should get absolutely volcanic. And they do in this. Reminds me of my old BMW E90.
So much for your patience. What can I get started for you today?
Hello, may I please do a venti hot chocolate with oat milk, please?
A venti hot chocolate with what?
With oat milk, please?
Yeah, well, do you still want the whipped cream that comes with it?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. Will that be all?
That'll be it.
Alright, your total is $567. See you at the window.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We should see cameras. How would I get to those now? Oh, right there. Ah, yes, very nice. One thing I love about Land Rovers is the 360 camera. You can see under the car, which in a drive-thru doesn't matter, but if you're off-roading and there are some obstacles under the car, you are still able to see them because they're just transparent. We have our front camera here, which is a little bit fisheye. And we have this really cool 360 camera as well. We can look all around this car. You can see that massive Honda CR-V behind us. This is just great. I mean, this is just so real for this car. I mean, what is this car going to spend its time doing? I think it's this. There's one thing Land Rover excels at. It's all of the cool off-road tech. You also have a ton of menus in here that show you air quality, slope assist. You have a compass. You have your wheel info. You've got info for your center and rear diff lock. You've got wade sensing for if you're fording a river in the English countryside. You also have energy impact, which I think is hilarious because there's a screen called Eco Tips. To improve efficiency, when safe to do so, apply accelerator smoothly and progressively. Try and maintain low engine RPM. Aim for smooth acceleration and deceleration. Driving at higher speed reduces efficiency. Apply brakes lightly and smoothly. Lift off accelerator to slow vehicle. Anticipate traffic flow and avoid sudden braking. So if someone pulls out in front of you, you just have to crash into them. Select the highest gear possible to reduce engine RPM. Okay, this is at practical. Oh, I see, they're different categories. Ensure all tires are inflated to correct pressure. Yeah, I agree with that one. Hold on a second. Remove external roof racks and boxes. You fitted it from the factory. What are you talking about? Remove unnecessary items from vehicle to reduce weight. Well, you've done that because you've gotten rid of the third row. Speaking of these boxes here and the ladder, while they are cool and practical, I suppose, well, according to the car, they're just unnecessary weight and drag, but they do take up a bit of space in the mirror. The ladder isn't as bad, but in the passenger mirror there, that does take up, I don't know, 10% or so, 20% of the mirror. Can I make it a map? Oh, I can. Oh, this is excellent. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely rest of your day.
You as well. All right. Let's get going. Now, generally, Starbucks drinks... Oh, we didn't make it. Generally, Starbucks drinks are so hot from the get-go that you're not able to drink them. But... there's a good amount of whipped cream, though, on top, so it's cooling it down. Now, this car is comfortable enough to drive and easy enough to drive that one-hand coffee... It's all good. Got a number of places to put things as well up here in the dashboard, and there is a grippy material in here. Now, if this were my car, I don't think I would ever do that because things rattling in the interior is one of my least favorite things in the entire world. But you have the option to do so if you would like. Common theme among a lot of these adventure vehicles. All right, this is kind of a boring section of road. I thought we would try out this Meridian sound system. What do you guys think? I'm gonna go ahead and put on our favorite time-lapse song, and we'll test this thing out. I've got the subwoofer up just slightly. We do also have a volume control here on the steering wheel. Always like to see that multiple ways. And a volume knob, though it is kind of far away, you got to reach for it. But I figured that's kind of more for the passenger, and the driver knob here is on the steering wheel. All right, let's go ahead and conclude that sound system test here. You know, I've never really been the biggest fan of the Meridian systems, and I know that's kind of controversial, but I feel like sometimes Meridian goes so above and beyond with trying to make things simulated that it ends up kind of just ruining the experience. With that being said, this Meridian system in this Defender 130 Outbound is, I think, the best one that I've heard. I wasn't a big fan of it in the Jaguar F-Type. I wasn't a huge fan of it in the last Defender 90 that I drove, but I think they've gotten it kind of tuned and sorted out. And I've also noticed that we don't have all of our different settings here, you know, for all of the different ways, and I may just be in the wrong menu, but as far as it's kind of just standard mode here with the subwoofer turned up just ever so slightly, it does sound pretty dang good. And I think it fits the price point here for around a $90,000 SUV. I don't really think that I would ask for more. Stop and go in this car is easy. It's got a nice progressive brake pedal. It's nice, you know, it's a Land Rover. You sit high up. I have the seat in its lowest setting, and I'm still sitting so high that I can see the front of the hood. So that's good. I mean, driving position, seating position, I've got a nice place for my left elbow here. There's a nice high resting point on the door panel. My center console, it's squishy, it's high up. It's just, I mean, everything in here is nice. They've really got this driving position dialed in. And as far as living with this car goes, it makes things a lot easier. Some SUVs, the seating position is not all there. You kind of feel like you're swimming in it in a big SUV, and I just don't feel like that in this car. Granted, the interior is a little bit smaller in some spots because the Defender is kind of a skinny and long, especially the 130 is kind of skinny and long. I've got good visibility in the front. The back's another story, but you know, we talked about that earlier. Another common sight in Michigan is these Lincoln Navigators, F-150s, and Expeditions with their power running boards stuck down because they freeze in the down position. What a stupid invention. In what world would those ever hold up and work? Apologies for no real straight line performance test. Here's a good brake test. We've got a car crooked in the middle lane. But we'll enter the city here, and then that'll just about wrap it up. I think we'll probably try and enter a parking garage and just see if this thing is maneuverable enough. Everybody's so angry. I think this is, you know, probably the nicest off-road kind of boxy oriented car to live with on a day-to-day basis. Sure, you could argue the G-Wagon, but there are some cumbersome characteristics about the G-Wagon, and this is just such a nice, smooth, effortless car to live with, and there's not really anything that you're sacrificing with this car apart from fuel economy, which I've noted is like 13 or 14 mpg, so not the greatest thing. Impact harshness, not bad. The actual ride itself, super nice. You guys get some nice ASMR here with this freezing rain or whatever's going on. Range Rover Sport? Or is that a velour? I guess this is a good time in the video to admit to you all that I'm not the biggest expert on Land Rovers. To be honest, I haven't driven a whole lot of them. And I did a little bit of research yesterday, and I have been living with this thing for about 3 days now at this point. So I do feel comfortable enough delivering you guys a bit of a review. Oh, and we're going to try to not get rear-ended. And she was not grateful at all that I let her go across. I wish I wouldn't have let you now. Anyways, at this point in the video, there's probably only a few of you left watching. Oh, the car is very angry. Please stop that. Stop it. Oh, you can... Oh, that's nice. You've got 2 levels of... Okay. You've got 2 levels of volume for that, or you can turn it off completely. It's kind of a nice touch. Let's take a left here. Oh, man. Yeah. The Solar Octane TRD Pro Tundra should tell you that you can maneuver just about anything down here. I think this structure is big enough. I've brought cars in here, I think, that have been bigger than this Defender 130. But let's try. We're going to come in here wide. Oh, the car is so angry at me. Please stop it.
Please select an event from this. Welcome.
Oh,
Please
no.
take your ticket.
Oh, I can't reach it. Yes, I can.
Please proceed into the lot.
(7'8". I should clear that, yes? Yes. I wonder which structure the TOPher tried going in with this. Oh, please stop it. There must be a piece of slush on one of the sensors. Oh, this is going to be pain. I do apologize to everybody still watching. Quick enough steering here. Yeah, no, this is good. I mean, this kind of just goes off of what I already told you guys in the Starbucks parking lot. I'd call that a pass. Minus it screaming at me.
Please insert your ticket with the barcode facing up. Thank you for your business. Please drive safely.
I didn't give you any money, but you're welcome. All right, guys, well, that's just about going to wrap it up for us today. If you want to go and watch a full comprehensive review on this Defender 130, make sure you go ahead and check out the video on the TheTopher channel. I'll give you some performance driving, some better driving impressions. I just wanted to show you all what it was like to live with this Defender 130, and I'm happy to report it is very livable. I was a little intimidated by this car, and I will say it does look larger in photos than it actually is in real life, but this thing has just been a treat to live with. Cool, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Oh, this isn't super slippery. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it's a proper thing. Proud and noble. That's not coming off. Okay.